InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you as always, my energetic beings. It's a little cold today in my little village here, but welcome back to Monday, Musing Monday, and your daily snippet. I am your host. I am a practicing holistic medium and subtle energetic surgeon. My intention is to use the power of the indigenous technologies, your original blueprint to navigate your soul's harmonic through the realm of the elementals, the elemental highway into the imaginal realms, basically with the subtle energies, elements, and elemental beings with offerings, rituals, prescriptions to add to your own personal juice within your container, the ingredients. But my goal really is truly to merge these wisdom of these indigenous technologies with the subtle realms into the etheric highway, assisting you into navigating your prime directive, your inner genius, your gift and purpose. Just reintroducing you to the magical being that I believe resides within each and every one of us. And I call myself a holistic medium. My name is Tonya Dee, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. So I have a couple announcements. Actually, I should find that juicy little thing. But you should be getting in your inbox today, if you've subscribed to my Musing newsletter, Musing with Tonya Dee Podcast. This season is otherworldly. And being that we are in the season of Taurus, the angelic being Camuel, so tune into that if you are ready. Have a pink shield of protection, a pink ray of light streaming through. And also we have this super juicy eclipsed moon on the horizon, the new moon in Taurus. Both of these I have links in the show notes, but I mean, we cannot really make this shift up. The universe truly does hold the juice. And the Musing meditation, that's actually going to be out as well, so be sure to tune into that, the new moon. Following the supermoon, if you are feeling the call to learn about the energy body demystified, I have that at an angel number savings. Everything's about angel numbers for me. So it's 666 instead of the 999. So you save the 333s. So we go from the 9s to the 6s, minusing the 3s. But with the frequency of today, it's a day to utilize our thoughts that form a value. So are your thoughts that you have about yourself valuing you, or are you undervaluing yourself? So you may be the kind of person that takes things and creates a tornado, going baby things into chaos, or do you take the tornado out of the little things? So when thoughts become things, they too can escalate into some unnecessary drama as well. So we're kind of filling into those threads today. But again, thanks for commenting, liking, and sharing. And if you would like a personal message for your day, it's simple. Just sharing me is sharing for you. Simply like, comment, and share the juice, and I will set the stage for you as well on your own personal streams. And also, if you haven't already, please be kind and do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tonya Dee. Go ahead and hit the bell button so you too are notified. And also, if you don't mind liking the videos, again, commenting and sharing, that really does help with the echoing of the YouTube algorithm to like-minded musers in the galactic universe, along with those other social channels like Instagram and TikTok, and again, my podcast. But if you too wish to dive deeper, head on over to my Musing corridor, where I do have offerings to guide you. And like I shared, which I should have been highlighting all season actually, the Energy Body Demystified. Again, the link is in the show notes. There's a little coupon code there. I think it's Twinkle 2022. But the savings is going to expire in 5 days. So it's at club.tonyad.tv. And just know that I am your holistic shaman medium. You are your own healer, and sometimes we need a shamanic coach to see beyond the beyond, sharing insight into a otherworldly perspective. So wherever you are, I will for sure meet you there. And this past weekend in the portal, Voices of the Otherworld, this portal was all about offerings, rituals, divinations, and so much more, kind of bringing in all the elementals. So when we hear the word ritual, it tends to take some people down the rabbit hole. Ritual is a prescription medicine that has been administered, if you will, by the pharmacy of the ancestors or the world of spirit, the world of nature. Rituals are kind of the lifeblood, also being the lifeblood of community, the village. So it's this universal connection and really so much more. So if you're new, like a budding sprout, I would totally recommend uncovering Secrets of the Other World and then adding Voices of the Other World to your library. And again, both are in my corridor, my Musing Club, club.tonyadee.tv. But being that our mind channel is online, I mean, it really is about manifesting positive thoughts and keeping messages positive when commenting on posts even. My MO is you're doing great. And if we all just start knowing that we are doing great, the greatness comes to the thinking as well. So I mean, it's sometimes a challenge to be in that positive light. But when we start doing our true magic, our gift and our purpose, we all become something greater. So maybe we do need to do some elimination in our thought patterns. It's eliminating thoughts that are low frequency, low vibe, and just rewriting a new script, if you will, a new prescription, a prescription of a positive frequency in our thoughts of elevating our value, a higher value, self-worth, self-esteem. So this is our inside voice, by the way, and in doing so, we can shift the outside voice. It really is our sacral or our solar plexus. It's that auric field, the causal field out there. But positive affirmations, the ones that are really aligning with our own personal values, things we value, the nature of our thoughts, or even super juicy ideas, kind of adding the magical ingredient of our own personal value, just magnetizing our self-worth in our cosmic soup. Again, for me, it's all about faith. I do believe in miracles, the magic of creation. So building our foundation from the ground up with thoughts about ourselves that are only positive, high frequency, raising those conversations, the inside voice, really shifts the bar to our value, raising our frequency of our own personal self-worth. So really, go take a bow in the mirror. You, my friend, are doing great. That's my memo. It's my online story. However, the messages today are coming from the language of light, so that's exciting. So first up, we have, ding, ding, ding. That's my new thing too. We're going from the Sirians to the Lyrans today. So the Sirians are all about the initiation, taking the initiation. They have a deeper connection to humanity. They're kind of like these master gene therapists, if you will. They help to structure our DNA in just unique, profound ways. And there's a lot of information about the destruction of our DNA, but there's also this deeper threading. There's a deeper story that resides between the lines of fear and the linearity of it, the logical mind. So our DNA has really evolved into its own built-in kind of functionality. It functions on its own. But where the Sirians have evolved into this mental and emotional balance, the frequencies of balance there, they easily saw things from this mountaintop perspective, a big view, a big picture view, a higher elevated perspective. And it didn't lose equilibrium. It stayed balanced from emotional turbulence. So they created and manifested with the future in mind. So the present moment is just kind of the catalyst of the new creation. So it's kind of flowing in and soothing into our heart space, a deeper collective understanding, building upon the frequency of the Lyrans, what they created. So the reason these messages are about initiation, that's because the Sirians, they began to focus towards change and progress, the process of it. So with this deep seed of this universal information, the Lyran's energy, this becomes the potential birthing through the focus and in the action of the Sirian energy. So just like when a flower opens to reveal the beauty of it, sprouts bursting through the spring that we're in, initiating the change, great change on the earth, as our desires blossom into our reality. So the change often means releasing that which previously felt safe to maintain. So the next step is really a creative process, which is our action to our inner change, which I found curious. But our first message is trust. Trusting in ourselves, our own capabilities, and discerning our choices. Trust is an important part of feeling easy, right? Or at ease. When we trust, we're kind of interacting with the change with greater patience. We have ease. And lack of trust actually limits our flow because we have to expand our energy with worry. So it's like this forestalling action, stalling us in a stall, like a racehorse in a stall. It's forestalling our action and fortifying our research, right? So our initiation, our emotions, and our logical mind all assist us with discernment so we can really trust ourselves, others, and life more, having a foundation. So a trusting person doesn't let others walk all over them. They listen to their inner guidance, that inner beacon. As we do this, our discernment becomes keen. It's like we're sourcing the frequencies. And our boundaries become more supportive, beneficial, and information just starts flowing fluidly. So this is this empowered state that the Sirians have actually mastered. So we're being kind of reminded to assess our doubts, refine them into a clearer knowing, our solar plexus, our inherent capabilities that we all have as we trust ourselves to access all necessary information for the best path, the best journey, where change becomes our ally. So we begin to use all of our spider senses more honestly as fear is kind of lessened and confidence becomes strengthened. So we become wise in our dealings with people, events, situations, whether we're trustworthy or not. So the language of light in the card, the message, it's enhancing our trust of ourselves and others in life, but it's also helping us discern what is for our highest good to feel comfortable doing life more honestly. So it's also a message of following like an initiation or intuiting in our innate intuition more, tuning into our gut feelings, focusing our thoughts away from the worry and trusting ourselves, knowing we are capable and just viewing life as we're constantly changing. Life is always changing. Nature's always changing for the better. So if things feel or look kind of bleak at the moment, that's actually a perfect message, right? For the energy of the day. It's changing, trusting, and transformation. And then after that, where am I? There I am. We have patience. So these next two messages are actually from the Lyran's energy. They're all about awareness, being aware, culminating our human experience in this conscious states of awareness and expression, the polarities of those, healing the dualities of being separate. That's kind of been embedded into all that they actually represent, just transcending duality. That's kind of the key to evolving. But they learned this through the deeper separation, through just eons of lifetimes of different galactic cultures. So they evolved beyond physicality eons ago, but they are still some physical kind of Lyran traces, I guess, or races. But the original Lyrans, they experienced this deeper separation of their feminine and their masculine nature. They've been characterized as lions, but that really doesn't cover the entire experience. So the lessons that their energy is offering us is this deeper seed of awareness, consciousness that connects the physical to the pure potential, the beings of light. So when we become aware of, or consciously aware, we begin to change more rapidly and also more consciously. So it may seem like we can resist or stay the same, but what we resist persists. But change is always initiated, right? We cannot stop change. It's also the next step in the process. So this is where growth or decay happens, depending on the flow with our own personal duality kind of experience, the streams. So these messages are really going to deepen our understanding, where the mental body kind of linearizes things of our heart's desires. The frequency helps support our balance to transform that duality as we naturally evolve into these universal laws, the channel I subscribe to, that are integrating with the physical experience in the now. So when we embody this, the change, and matter of fact, I tried to do this embodiment thing, so I think that's hilarious. But when we embody this, the change, we initiate the stronger foundation, what we can grow upon, right? So the first card we have is patience, which I find curious. Patience, right? I've had to be patient. My dad lives with me, so, you know, the ancestors, patience is a thing. So I talk to God a lot about that. But patience is an open, peaceful, creative state of awareness. It's not just waiting. It really is peace in action, a deeper knowing of our ability to create with life. So these little beings here, the Lyrans of light, discovered patience was this powerful creative state. But it can be challenging oftentimes when we worry. Worry is not only unproductive towards a solution, but it really releases those stress hormones that really affect our health, our frequency, vibration, our body. So patience is our gift to ourselves so we can remain calm, centered in our heart or solar plexus, just knowing that life will still be purposeful. It has purpose. Hopefully benevolent. I was thinking of a benefic. But a solution kind of flows to us. So it is peace in action. When we remain calm, then we can recognize these solutions when it's presented rather than doubting ourselves or missing the signals of life, the sigils. So the message is asking us to examine our fears that life will only disappoint us. And we know, when we know inside of us that all is well, patience is a lot easier. When we're in fear or doubt, we create and react with fear or doubt. So patience, it's just a matter of releasing the worry, relaxing our mind and our body, and just to be open to new solutions. And really, challenges are really an opportunity where we can learn, we can transform. So when we practice patience, we recognize solutions actually more easily. It's like taking that breath and that pause, and we enjoy life more through the process. So the language of light in this particular card, that is soothing us into a more patient aspect, being patient within ourselves and others, and also with the flow of life. It actually feels like water, peace is water in the divination that I do as well, but it's releasing our fears of the unfulfillment, just showing us our deep capabilities to create from a place and a space of peace. So this unseen flow of life is really creating change for the better instead of change for the worse. So we have more time maybe needed actually, so additional information can kind of take shape and form. So just relaxing into this moment, it's kind of benefiting us in a variety of ways, and we're all capable of handling our challenges with ease and peace and going with the flow. Maybe just being more patient within ourselves brings us those solutions that we need. So yeah, and then I found curious, following patience, I have discernment, still again from the Lyrans. So that's super juicy. But which patience, and peace, it's also connecting with the frequency of the streams or the rivers that are flowing in nature. So imagine the patience that nature has, knowing or not knowing if the birth is going to burst through. But we have discernment, so this brings us back to trust. I believe in discernment creates choice. It's fundamental to the physical experience, but not only do we discern what is needed for survival, but life is actually more enjoyable as we discern our preferences. So discerning between right or wrong for ourselves in the moment is healthy. A negative use of discernment kind of polarizes us one way against another, one right, one wrong, kind of two sides of that duality, but this will all have this emotional charge, an element of suppression. So the message is kind of supporting us to look within ourselves, finding our motivation behind our preferences, and discovering that supporting these unique preferences and choices, kind of empowering society, community, a village. So as we become more empowered, we're creating healthy boundaries instead of avoidance or forces of adversity. So when we know we are safe, we don't need to condemn another or force them in our knowingness to behave or believe like we do. We surrender the need to control the world around us. We're in the flow, so we can feel good, and then we find that peace within, which is the flow. So the message here, the message of light, the language of light, is really assisting us to feel empowered to choose for ourselves, releasing self-doubt, judgment, insecurities. It really is activating our deep understanding of the power of choice, like how safe we are in the world of free will. So just kind of examine those motivations behind our boundaries, releasing feelings of insecurities or the lack of them, and being authentic with our feelings. We can utilize emotional change or charges to identify the unhealthy judgments that we may put upon ourselves, just allowing others to be how they are. Even a weed kind of can look pretty, right? So to be discerning is really a good thing, right? We all need to discern some things. I always say, is this mine or is it theirs? It seems to be a frequency I am always doing. But my brain now is going to the elemental highway. And the elemental highway, we have a young earth monkey of a day. Any monkeys out there? Most people just look at the year, which is great. But the elementals are influential, all of them. But we finally have some unrefined metal to our day. Our day is solid with the dragon on the month branch, young earth. And our day is also strong, being in the season of spring. So we have a foundation within the dragon as well. But the most needed element for this day is the element of spring, wood, yang wood, which we have. That's going to keep our day under control, loosening it up, giving it a new form. And also yin water. I know we have yang water, but yin water is actually better. It's going to moisten the earth, Metal with the water is also going to create more balance of our day. So it's just making our day both moist and fertile. So without water, our day would be challenged to create prosperity, giving birth to something new in the soil bursting through. And of course, we do need sun to warm up our day, right? Everyone needs some sun. But we have all the elements except fire, which is hidden. But I sure would take some sun. And I'm sure, I've said this before, mountains. This is big earth. This is massive solid rock. It's a mountain. It even could be a mountain range because the dragon, is young mountain or young earth too. It's a mountain. So being that this is the mountain, these people are steady, they're stable, they're reliable. It's the energy of the earth. So we can always count on the mountain to be there. Not very easy to move. They really are stable. They represent support. They're hard to move. They are like a mountain. They can become actually really complacent, if you will, which makes them kind of procrastinate, which also is kind of one of their greatest enemies. It makes them a little bit lazy. Unless there's some strong external force, like the yang wood, which can make them to move. Yang wood, earthquaking, right? But they really are represented by a mountain because the mountain is very strong, but it's also very slow. So they take their time in making decisions. So I'm going to the mountain if I was going to do a prescription for a ritual. So this is where we tell our secrets. We tell our secrets to the mountain, but the mountain doesn't share their own secrets. That's why young earth people often seem very mystical. And we do have a dragon, so a little more mystical and magical than other days. I'm sure I've talked about the mountain before, but a different frequency because we got the monkey. But once we get to know the mountain, that's when the mountain opens up. They become rather chatty. This day probably would with the monkey there. They become chatty. They become rather fun. They do change their minds often, which actually kind of does drive people around them a little insane or crazy. But they're independent. They are the mountain, right? So they generate their own gifts, their own talents. They love doing things on their own. They like to take their time. They like to lay the foundation, the groundwork. And even though, that is a good thing, it too can backfire because they tend to procrastinate and they can be kind of stubborn about it. But they do achieve success on their own. They don't need nurturing from others. They're a mountain. So they often don't even offer it to others either. It does not go to the people. People go to the mountain. So these people, they really don't need anybody to develop their gifts and their talents because they're highly capable to do that on their own. A mountain is self-sufficient. It has everything it needs. Everything a mountain needs is already there as long as they don't have to rely on the other. So they are emotionally stable. They strive in whatever they decide and they commit to it, right? So sticking to their own personal moral code, that's like their vision quest, their quest in life, their holy grail. But not only what is right, but also what is necessary for all of their decisions to take shape and take form and what they're creating. And integrity, which I love. Integrity makes up most of them. So they do tend to second guess themselves, their own decisions within that quest, the vision to choose the right thing. And that's generally when they make those mistakes. Even knowing that they really are inspiring trust, which is frequency of our day with the cards, actually, trust and patience. Sometimes they put others first to where they would rather change their own ways when others find it difficult to adapt and change to theirs. So they kind of have this excessive sensitivity to the perceptions of other people. They often make them a little weak-willed, if you will. So they're prone to making more rash decisions. They're driven by their emotions. And emotions really rule them. It's this ability to make decisions. So they tend to be more stubborn and illogical. So they don't see reason as a top priority. They're at the top of the mountain. So they have this fondness for contemplation. That is Earth. Earth contemplates. Earth is happiness. It's the center of it all, quite frankly. But young Earth, they value perceptions, the mountaintop perspective, point of view, more than anything else. They really do they act on their gut feelings. And being a perfectionist, they often go around in circles, which does lead to more procrastination. However, their main strength in gaining strength, they get their foundation from their families and those relationships. That is their foundation. That's extremely important to an Earth person, young Earth especially. they do need great support from their parents and also their siblings. They literally could take on the world even if other parts of their lives aren't doing so great. As long as they find that peace within the family, they are fine. So besides family, it's obviously love relationships. That's another thing where they find their own peace, their own purpose, their own family, community. So if they have family, their love life supportive, they're going to be fully inspired, emotionally prepared to take on whatever life throws at them. But being that our day is strong, it's a strong day. It does need yang wood, the forest, which we do have with our month and the tiger. Yin water, the rivers to balance. But we've got yang water. But we also need the sun. So that's the element I'm actually going to go with today, mostly because I'm tired of feeling cold in my house. But being that this is the mountain, these people are the mountain, they too can be like a volcano. They really do hold those emotions deep down into the mountain. But when they explode, these emotions really can become otherworldly. It surprises people around them because they're in a mountain, right? A volcanic action of explosion, if you will. So they do need their space. They do need their pace. They go at their own pace. And being that they do go at their own pace, finding a way to deal with them, mostly on an emotional level, because nothing else is going to work. But once they have those conditions met, they're supportive, they're highly creative, they're very successful because they're persistent, they're trustworthy, they're kind, down to earth, centered, stable, realistic. But with this day master, we have Eric Clapton, which I find amazing, pink, James LeBron. I think I talked about this the other day, that these day masters. But being that we have metal is actually the creative aspect. So this is being structured or needing to be structured, metal, right? We do need fire for the metal, but it's unrefined. So it kind of takes life from our day, yang metal. And I do know people with this day master, stem included, or monkey on the year, and they really are like a mountain. But earth is also our lymphatic system, so moving a mountain is good for these people. They need movement to keep the system, the lymphatic system, the cells healthy. So having a desk job is not actually a great thing for people with earth as a day master or too much earth in their 4 pillars. But being that we also have a super god in the year stem, with this particular day master, there's a super god. This is the influencer, the influencing of our family heritage, our lineage, our ancestors. Its reach is actually global, which means that our day has the potential house to have these specific talents internationally. So the super talented usually bring strong creative communication abilities. I'm not having that today, apparently. But also brings strong sex appeal, strong sex drive, being flamboyant, usually very energetic, chatty, unpredictable, often using foul language, swearing a lot, the sexual innuendos, loving to move or take risks. But this can also lead to negative behaviors like addiction, losing money through gambling. Specifically for men, it's kind of that playboy behavior, a lot of focus on sex and women being highly promiscuous. Freddie Mercury has this super god, Elton John, JFK, and Charlie Sheen. So you really cannot make this shift up. There's others, but I thought those were the curious. But being that our mind is online, our solar plexus, we are in the mindset of searching to understand what we do think of ourselves. What do we think of our value of ourselves? You know, do you have that inside voice that breaks the deal or seals the deal? What are you giving yourself credit for, right? Soul credit or not, really. So this is otherworldly credit, the bank account in the other world. I see Melodoma telling me about the bank account in the other world. That the mind is kind of an instigator of. So we're shifting it today, what we think of ourselves in our inside world, and we're adding value, an optimistic venue to the cosmic soup, the ingredients. Or are we debating and kind of going against ourselves, our value? Are we getting into some enlightening credit from the other world, resources? What is our heart's opinion of our own value, our own net worth? Are you behaving in ways that are creating a feeling of being valuable or valueless? So go through the streams within and see where your inner self-worth belongs. Go through your chalice, seek to understand, what does your heart think about your personal self-worth? Do you value yourself? Are you undervaluing yourself? Are you feeling valued when you are creating? Does your mind and your attitude give you the gift of values of positivity. Is your home a value for your family, your relationships, your environment? We got a lot of earth. Go through the cosmic highway to seek to understand those interpersonal values, not the outer garden, that inner gardener. Myself, I'm in the cosmic web of my mind, analyzing fears, karmic patterns, maybe the ones that keep threading through, making the same mistakes, right? Just recalibrating our thoughts, being specific, so I can myself identify a new way to think, a new way to have that mountaintop, otherworldly faith perspective. So the heart, our heart center, needs to be in alignment with our beliefs in a mountaintop perspective, a mountaintop point of view that may seem a little bit otherworldly, but in the frequency that resonates as truth, knowing how negative thoughts also negatively affect our beliefs within ourselves into the future, taking it down the conscious river streams here. So when we open our mind to a new way of approaching ourselves, thinking about ourselves, valuing ourselves, we come up with a new beingness about how to create a future belief within ourselves. So it really is an amazing day with the messages from the cards, the elements out there to rewrite the script. Scratch out, no sloppy scripts here. Just upcycling our thoughts, raising our personal value, giving sacred space to our soul's credit, our net worth. Do what boosts your self-worth, your soul's capital. And give yourself that universal degree. So it's time to think higher and higher of ourselves. And you may have to cleanse the cosmic cobwebs, your physical environment of people, places, and situations, things that are not in the same frequencies. The negatives are really out there. And sometimes when we're doing great things, it really is a confirmation of the outer world, some people need to get their shifter together and do something. Get off the couch. So give yourself the ultimate boost of your soul, the credit that you deserve, and whatever it is that you're creating and manifesting. You're doing great, and I am too. So I would bring in the central sun, the rays of the sun, cleansing our solar plexus. You could wear yellows, but I'm thinking pink would be great as well. You could give yourself an earth facial. I do utilize an energetic skincare line. The serums work on the etheric level through the skin. So it's the energy on matter. There's some really cool stuff there. Check out that too. So I would be bringing in the heat of fire, the Ha sound. The sounds are in the show notes. I would also bring in the Ram channel, the solar plexus. You can chant that as well, but it's time to be courageous, manifesting from and through with Creator, valuing ourselves more and more as we climb the cosmic ladder through the season of Taurus. So it's a day for inspiration. It's inspirational thoughts, being inspired by spirit. Be creative in our thoughts, our processor, right? So shifting to the language of light, discerning a positive thought from a negative one. I would affirm that I am in my heart's chalice, adding only ingredients that inspire thoughts aligned with higher elevation, that mountaintop or mountain range point of view. But with that, I will see you on the other side, and hopefully it'll be warm in my little garden here. But I would seriously be the vibe you wish to be with your tribe today. And also, again, if you are curious, the Energy Body Demystified is on for a savings for 5 more days. So be sure to check that out if you feel called. And always, I will see you on the other side. Blessings.